You probably heard the question I asked earlier about functional homelessness. Is that a concept that you deal with? We have a lot of, we said 10% of the student population is either homeless or functionally homeless in Syracuse. So living on someone's couch. Is that just a concept in your lexicon, and do you have ways
It's not
of
lost
dealing
on
with
us at all in that situation. We recognize that there is a portion of the population that is, for lack of a better conversation, couch surfing. And in that scenario, we are very focused on working with the not-for-profits and with the schools to make sure that we can identify those individuals and those families to make sure that they're accessing the services that are available in that particular district. That really is the challenge, though. But there's no question, there's a segment of the population that is not falling into the standard counts.
Right, thank you. And do you expect the MRT process to have representation from people who represent the concerns of community-based nonprofits that are dealing with the needs of people with disabilities or the populations that you serve?
I would defer to others on discussions about the MRT. I'm sure that all of us are anxiously awaiting what is inevitably going to be a very difficult job.
Okay. And then finally, about refugees. So all across the thruway communities, refugees are very important parts of our communities.
No question about it.
And the federal government has basically abdicated its role both in resettling refugees, but also supporting refugees who are here already. Just can you tell me what you're doing to support the organizations that are there to help
Sure.
them and the people themselves?
Again, in serving our refugees, I'll give you the good news. There hasn't been a drop in federal funding at this point, okay? That doesn't mean that we are not concerned about it, because we are. When the access to communities, especially in New York, of individuals who are coming, who are refugees, it's a deep concern. We have seen a significant drop in numbers. The governor has made it very clear that New York is open. New York is here and welcoming, and it's what we were built on, and that we are very focused on that. So, but when it comes to the services, obviously language services, obviously any and all of the social services that we have available in the human services side of the house, making sure that access to schooling and culturally competent services at that front as well.
So is there any kind of additional funding? I mean, when you say federal funding hasn't dropped,
It doesn't mean...
If they're not resettling people,
Correct.
Then they are not sending the money in. And there are a bunch of organizations, but Interfaith Works, for example, in Syracuse, which does a huge amount of work with refugees, and they have depended, a lot of their
Sure.
funding has come from new refugees coming in, and they're not getting that funding now. So they're having to stretch everything they've got to provide the language support services and cultural support services.
Sure.
So I'm just wondering, is the state trying to fill those gaps?
Again, I think it probably warrants a further conversation, and if you don't mind, I'd love to be able to have that with you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.